Hello there, Math 133 students. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do Chapter 2, Project 4, which is tied to the 2.3 worksheet. Okay, so there's a document with instructions at this link, so I'm going to click on that link. And this looks very familiar. It's just like Chapter 2, Project 3. And then we have a spreadsheet, and I'm going to click on that link. Oops, I think my link is incorrect. Yep, that's the one. It should have this age group here. So I have the wrong one listed on that link, so I'm going to fix that right this second. Okay, that's fixed now. Now remember, as we're following along with this project, you're going to want to take notes because I won't show you how to do every single one of these. You're going to do this type of project many, many, many times. So I'm only going to show you step by step how to do the first few, and then after that, I expect you to know how to do it. So you might want to take notes on the formulas and such. Okay, so we're going to log into our Google account, which I already am. You can tell I'm in the Google account because I'm over here on the right side. That's my dog's, so I know I'm in. And we're going to make a copy of the Chapter 2 Project 4 Google spreadsheet. So that's this spreadsheet. So this is my spreadsheet. You can't type in it, so you have to go to File and Make a Copy. The other option is to download it as an Excel file if you own Excel. But the far easier way to do this is to get logged into your Google account on a Chrome browser and go to File, Make a Copy. All right, then it's going to have a copy. Now you've got to make sure that you have your last name in the file's name, either here or maybe here at the front, but it's got to be somewhere that your last name is. And then you click Make a Copy. And your instructor might ask for more than just your last name if there's like 2 people in the class with your same name. Okay, so now we have our copy and it has our name on it. And now we're going to do all the stuff. So we've got to find the midpoints, the total for the columns, the frequency column, the relative frequencies, the cumulative frequency, and the cumulative relative frequency with draggable formulas. Sure, no problem. Okay, now in this one, because there's numbers all the way, there's no open-ended class at the front, I can actually find the first class's midpoints, no problem. So you type equals, and then you type parentheses, and you want to take the consecutive lower class limits and take their average. So 10 plus 15, right? It's 10 and 15, add them up and divide by 2. So parentheses 10 plus 15 divided by 2. Let me make that a little bigger if I can. There we go. So let me click in here so you can see it. 10 plus 15 in parentheses. So parentheses 10 plus 15 divided by 2. It has to be 15. This is really 14.99999, not 15. So you've got to take 15 and make it work. Okay, I just fixed that so that it'll show up in the middle. I just like it better. All right, now to find the next midpoint, we want a draggable formula. A draggable formula is required. So we need to note the class width on this table. Now the class width is the distance in between consecutive lower class limits. So you have to look at the table and say, all right, the first class's lower class limit is 10, the next one's 15, the next one's 20, 25, and so on. So the class width is actually 5 here. All right, so then we're going to use that class width of 5 to answer the question. Here, let me make that a little smaller. So equals B2, so that's cell B2, plus 5. Enter. So I found one of the midpoints, and then the rest of the midpoints I'm going to find with the class width. Right, so the class width is what I'm using. So B2 plus 5, 5 because it's the class width. Now, if I click on that box, it makes the box blue, and in the bottom right corner there's a dot. And if you make your cursor hover over it, it goes from an arrow to a hand to a plus sign, and you want that plus sign. So you click, when it gets to a plus sign, you click and drag it down, and then lift up, and you have all your midpoints right there, just like that. Okay, so now for the relative frequency. We want to find the relative frequency, so to do that we're going to need the total. So we can't find relative frequency unless we found the total first. All right, so, and it says it right here, find the total of the frequency column. All right, so to do that, you type equals, and there it knows what you want. Sum. That's exactly what you want. Sum from C2 to C13. Start at C2, which is the 2358, and keep adding, adding, adding. You can see it's in this little orange highlighted box all the way down until C13. And then we hit enter, and there we have a total. All right, so now I want to take this cell, which is C2, and I want to get that relative frequency, so I have to divide by 533453. So C2 divided by 533453, enter. Ha, beautiful. So Google Spreadsheet's so smart, it knows what I want. Now, if you accidentally hit arrow and like, oh no, it's gone, it's okay. You can just click on cell D2 and move your cursor to the bottom right corner so it turns into a plus sign. Click and drag it down. And you're all set. Okay, so now highlight all of those beautiful, beautiful frequencies, relative frequencies, and there's all those decimal places, which are yucky. So we're going to make them all blue. So I'm highlighting. So I click in the middle of that box, kind of where it's an arrow cursor. And then I drag my mouse down, my cursor down, and then I get all of them. You can also do that with the shift button, and you hold down the shift and use the arrows. And then you click this button right here, where it decreases the decimal place. And you keep clicking until you lose the decimal places, until you get down to 3. Because I believe that's what we wanted. We might have wanted 3 or 4. I don't remember what we wanted. Nope, it was 3. So there we go. Done. Okay, now the cumulative frequency is always a little strange. The first cumulative frequency is always cell C2. But we don't want this formula. This is no, no. So I want to hit that little X. I don't want that suggestion. I'm going to reject it. So if you hit the little X, it goes away. All right, now equals, I want the 2358 above. So E2 plus this 84637 over here. So E2 plus C3. And you can see one of them's in orange and one of them's in purple. Right? And that's exactly what we want. So E2 is the one right above, and C3 is over here. And then you hit enter. And then you want to drag that formula. So you want to go back up into that cell. So click it so it's got a little blue box around it. You move your cursor to the side. It'll turn into a hand. You want to go down until it turns into a plus sign. You move your cursor above that dot in the bottom right corner. Then you click and drag your cursor down, and there you go. They're all filled in. Okay, so now what about the cumulative relative frequency? Well, that's the same as the relative frequency. It's just the cumulative. So you type equals, and now it's the cumulative frequency, which is cell E2, divided by the big total, which is 533453 in my case. And I hit enter, and it already knows that's what I want. So if it's something you want, you click the little check mark to say, yep, that's what I wanted. And again, if you didn't do that, you can drag it down. And that will also work. Again, we don't want this many decimal places, so we're going to highlight all of it so it's all blue, and we're going to hit the button so it lessens the decimal places. And there we have it. It's all finished. So we have done everything for part 3. We found everything with draggable formulas and using Google Spreadsheet's capabilities. All we have to do now is make a chart and upload it, and we are finished. Okay, so we're going to make a chart. So that's under Insert. So you got to highlight the frequencies, but do not get the total. All the frequency numbers down to the 1178, but do not include that 533453. No, no, no. And then hit Insert, and then Chart. And there we have a chart. You just have to move it. So you just kind of, I let my cursor kind of sit in there where it's an arrow, and I click and I shove. And I'm just kind of pushing it down because it can't block the, oh, see, it is blocking. I don't want that. So let me add some more rows here. I've got to shove it so that it's out of the way. The other way to shove it is to shove it to the right. Right? You can kind of shove it over here to the right. But it has to be moved so that it doesn't block the graph. So you can kind of push it over there. That's another way to push it. but make it so that it's not blocking this table. Sorry, the table. And at this point, everything's done and we're ready to upload. Right? So we go to share and we change this. So general access, we click it so that instead of restricted, we make it so anyone with the link is a viewer. And then we say copy the link. And then we go to the project. And as a student, we click the web URL over here. And then we Control V to paste. And then we click submit. Right? It takes it a second, but hurrah! We have the confetti, so we know we did it. And we're all done.